Good evening and thanks for joining us on KRDO News Channel 13 at 5 o'clock. I'm Angelica Lombardi. We start off tonight with some breaking news out of Texas. One person has been killed and 6 others wounded in a shooting at a San Antonio mall earlier this afternoon. Police say 2 suspects attempted to rob a Kay Jewelers store around 3:30. One citizen was shot and killed when attempting to intervene. Another citizen with a concealed handgun shot one of the suspects. That suspect was transported to a hospital. The second suspect escaped through the mall, shooting 6 more people. Authorities say that suspect is still at large. We'll, of course, keep you updated as this story unfolds. Now let's get right to that active animal cruelty investigation in Fremont County. 63 horses are now in custody after being seized by the Fremont County Sheriff's Office. It happened in the 1000 block of L Street in Penrose, just north of Pueblo. KRDO News Channel 13's Michaela White joins us in studio with more. And Michaela, a spokeswoman told you they're still in the early stages.
That's right, Angelica. This all comes with a warning from the Sheriff's Office to animal owners.
Animal cruelty is something we've seen here before in southern Colorado, and the definition isn't cut and dry.
When we say animal cruelty, it, for the most part, means neglect, not like someone's beating their animals or torturing their animals.
The Fremont County Sheriff's Office investigating another case, seizing 63 horses.
With investigators from the Colorado Humane Society and the Denver Dumb Friends League, responded to the 1000 block of L Street in Penrose.
Investigators haven't identified the owner yet, but say the person was cooperative during the seizure. The horses are now at a secured holding facility. We're told they will be cared for there until a final court ruling is made. The incident is now prompting a word of warning from authorities.
Animal owners, make sure that they know what they're doing, that they're properly caring for their animals, and there's always resources out there. If people are struggling or run into hard times, don't be afraid to ask for help. There's the Colorado Humane Society is a huge resource, and there's feed banks and things where people have rough months and can't afford hay, things like that. There's ways to, get help.
Tells me they're getting a lot of phone calls about people wanting to adopt those horses. While the Sheriff's Office appreciates all the help, they're not up for adoption at this time. Live in studio, Michaela White, KRDO News Channel 13.
And continuing with more animal-related news, Denver police are investigating the deaths of several animals on a farm. Our partners at KMGH in Denver say that 9 animals were found dead at the urban farm at Stapleton around 10:30 this morning. The dead animals include goats, sheep, and rabbits. Authorities believe 2 dogs are responsible for those killings. Those 2 dogs are now in quarantine.
There were 2 animals, 2 dogs, 1 male and 1 female dog that were found here on site that are not a part of the urban farm. So these were animals that were not from here, and we're looking at the fact or the possibility that they could have played a major role in the death of these animals.
The farm is a nonprofit that provides agricultural and environmental education to urban youth and their families. Let's take a live look outside now. This is at Austin Bluffs and Stetson Hills. You can see a nice evening out there. Pretty warm earlier today, but what are we expecting as we head into the work week? We'll send things over now to Storm Tracker 13's Nick Carter. Nick.
Angelica, we're talking snow for starters for the high country. Don't panic just yet, but this is a large area of light to moderate snow, and we've watched it expand in coverage over the past couple of hours. It's moving out to the east, and it's got some long legs too, all the way out to the Pacific, where many parts of central and southern California under various types of flood warnings, and for good reason. This is a lot of Pacific moisture that's moving onshore, gets into the Sierra Nevada, and it starts to cool down, and of course it turns into the form of snow. Here's the leading edge of that weather system. It's right over western Colorado, and sure enough, we've already got winter storm warnings that are going to be hoisted right at the end of the hour. Same for the winter weather advisories, mainly covering the southwest mountains. The big question, of course, how much of that moisture makes it over the Front Range and when. We'll talk about that later in the Storm Tracker 13 forecast. Don't panic, don't get the shovel just yet. Meantime, right now our temperatures ranging from the mid-30s to mid-40s. It was a great day to go out fishing. Don Evans took a picture of this little guy and this big guy here. Nice brown trout earlier this afternoon. Brief warm-up for us, mountain snow, and then Tuesday we could be looking at some snow right here in Colorado Springs, Pueblo, Walsenburg, Trinidad, and all those other places across the southern foothills. And when we get back, we'll talk about that in more detail. Angelica?
All right, thank you, Nick. Now on to this evening's crime tracker. 2 people are recovering after multiple shots were fired in Colorado Springs. Authorities say officers were in the northeast part of the city when they heard gunfire while heading to a disturbance in the 1800 block of Platt Avenue. Early reports say some shots were aimed at police, but no officers were injured. This is an ongoing investigation. Also in this evening's crime tracker, Colorado Springs police say a wanted man with a felony warrant was arrested last night on the 3000 block of Starlight Circle. Isaiah Pickett was found by police while sitting in a parked vehicle. He ran into a residence once he was confronted by officers, but surrendered peacefully after a canine unit helped contain him. And a Colorado Springs woman is in custody this evening in connection to a domestic violence situation. According to police, 23-year-old Brianna Lark shot her husband in the 3200 block of Poughkeepsie Drive last night. Lark then fled to an apartment complex on Carmel Drive. The husband was rushed to Memorial Hospital, where he is being treated for a serious but non-life-threatening injury. Lark is now facing charges of attempted first-degree murder. Donald Trump greeting his new White House staff and meeting with law enforcement today, but his team is facing tough questions about what the president said yesterday. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez reports from Washington.
On his second full day in office, President Donald Trump talked with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu by phone, attended the swearing-in ceremony of senior staff members,
do some great things over the next 8 years,
and hosted first responders at the White House. But President Trump's team spent their day defending the claims he made on day one, disputing reports that the National Mall wasn't as packed during his inauguration as it was for some past ceremonies. Though there is no official crowd estimate, the White House points to this photo taken from behind the podium. But this view, shot from the Washington Monument as Trump delivered his remarks, shows thinner crowds than at President Obama's 2009 inauguration.
These attempts to lessen the enthusiasm of the inauguration are shameful and wrong.
Press Secretary Sean Spicer's lambasting of the media and false claims about crowd size defended today by counselor to the president Kellyanne Conway.
You're saying it's a falsehood, and they're giving Sean Spicer, our press secretary, gave alternative facts to that. But the point remains.
Wait a minute. Alternative facts? Alternative facts, 4 of the 5 facts he uttered.
President Trump's chief of staff, Reince Priebus, on Fox News tried to explain why the administration spent their first full day in office focused on this topic.
The point is not the crowd size. The point is the attacks and the attempt to delegitimize this president in one day. And we're not going to sit around and take it.
Also making headlines today, Conway said on This Week that President Trump will not release his tax returns. And the president tweeted, quote, "Why didn't these people vote?" reacting to the crowds here in Washington and in cities across the country who participated in yesterday's women's marches. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Washington.
Former First Lady Barbara Bush will remain in the hospital after reports said that she might be released. The former First Lady was admitted for bronchitis while her husband is treated for a respiratory issue related to pneumonia. A spokesman for former President George H.W. Bush says he will remain in the ICU for observation for a few more days. And a programming note for our viewers. It's official. KRDO is pleased to announce that an agreement has been reached with DirecTV. That means News Channel 13 newscasts and ABC programming are back on the DirecTV channel lineup. KRDO management is grateful for your patience and understanding as our parent company carried out those negotiations. And of course, if you'd like any more information on this, you can click on the Save My Local Station link on our homepage, krdo.com. And still to come, an early wake-up call for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their hotel they were in last night evacuated. That story next.